Welcome to the Davis Star Experience.
It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. And the game was over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
There's going to be a parade on Broad Street. Hey, man, if this is a dream, don't wake me up. We're going to have a parade on Broad Street.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Davis Star Experience. This morning, I'm here to talk about the WWE and some of the things that I have noticed and some of the things that, WWE has been doing lately. Um, as most people know, WWE has been on a resurgence, a comeback for those diehard wrestling fans that absolutely love pure pro wrestling, authentic pro wrestling. We are in a era where we are seeing a form of professional wrestling that, quite frankly, has never been seen before, I think. I mean, the only thing close to it would be the Attitude Era or WCW when Hogan decided to turn heel, and the NWO, all that, where the stars came out to different wrestling events. You'd see the Mike Tysons in WWE or the various celebrities that WCW had showing up on Nitros and different Starrcade pay-per-views and such, where guys would, break their necks to get tickets to a pro wrestling event. We're seeing that again now in 2025, and it's great. It's a wonderful thing. But, and unfortunately, I have to throw a but in there. There are some things that are not so great about pro wrestling and, WWE. You have a roster stacked with talent, stacked with potential, stacked with diversity, and guys who can work with anybody, guys who can cut a great promo, guys that can do great in-ring work. I mean, I don't think I've ever in the history of the sport, in the history of the company in WWE, I don't think I've ever seen anybody like Jacob Fatu. And I'm talking about a guy who comes in off the streets, highly touted, highly respected, highly motivated, and can come in and put together a promo package and put together his in-ring work. His in-ring work is above all else, second to none. A guy his size has no business moving the way that he can move. And I mean, the guy is believable. He's scary. He is a scary man. And he's out there cutting promos like nobody's business. The guy can go out there and work. You got guys that came back off an injury, like for instance, like AJ Styles. We all saw what happened when he hurt his leg. The guy came back, instant pop, and they put him immediately in a program with Braun Breaker, which I think personally is going to do crazy numbers. You got guys coming back that came back like Randy Orton. The pop that this man got at Bash at Berlin, the way those fans reacted to him going one-on-one against Gunther was legendary. Granted, the match really wasn't what I expected it in terms of work rate, but I think the match itself told a very interesting story as to the respect that I think they have positioned Gunther. Maybe it's just me, but I get Bob Backlund vibes from Gunther. A wrestling purist, but a true heel in every sense of the word. This man can cut a promo and get philosophical with his promos. He doesn't have to get the crowd to throw shit at him in the ring. But when he speaks and he talks on the mic, he has the ability to convince you as a wrestling fan why you should doubt the babyface, why you should doubt a guy like Jey Uso. I mean, he beat the piss out of him the last time they fought. And now, you know, he's going up against guys and he's beating them convincingly, which is part of the reason why I think they changed the plans of him going, first they kind of teased him going against Gunther. Then they teased him going against Cody. Now they're back to the whole Gunther thing. Now you're kind of doubting. I mean, the only thing that's saving the credibility for Jay right now is the fact that he cut such an emotional promo and he's going out there and taking the fight to Gunther. But I think that Gunther, the way that they're pushing him right now is very, very, very well created, very, very well done. Um, I don't know who's helping him with his promos or if he's doing it himself, but his promo work is excellent. Not the greatest technician. I mean, he's not a Dean Malenko, in my opinion, but Gunther's getting his point across. He's a big, strong Austrian that can toss at will. He is a strong man who can beat the piss out of anybody convincingly. That's why you don't have him going up against a guy like Tozawa. That's why you don't have him going up against Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, because we all know he beat the shit out of him without hesitation, without too much effort. It's gonna take a guy like a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns or a Jey Uso or a Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes, somebody that can convincingly take the fight to Gunther to make us believe that he is a beatable monster. The fact that he lost at in Saudi Arabia was enough to convince people, I think, that Gunther is human. Because before he was a machine. And to me, he still has that aura of being a machine. It's just that right now the amount of talent in the field on the roster that can convincingly beat him for that world title is very, very small. It's going to take a Jey Uso to beat him. If Jay can't beat him at Mania, I don't know who you really have besides Braun Breaker that can really take the fight to Gunther and, be the guy that can wear the strap. Because right now, Gunther is it. They struck while the iron was hot, and they have him wearing and rocking that world title and representing that world championship and actually doing the one thing that they swore that Seth Rollins was going to do, and he had it. And he did to an extent. I honestly think that since they gave Seth Rollins that world title, it didn't really mean as much, I think. But now that Gunther has it and he's beating the piss out of everybody in his path, I think that legitimacy has finally been given has finally come to that world championship, and deservedly so, because Gunther's put in the work. Gunther and others who have held that world title have attempted to do that, but I think Gunther's personality and his work, his promo work and his ring work actually have given that title some prestige since it was created um some time ago. Um we got the Elimination Chamber coming up, and there are, oh man, that chamber match is going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these chamber matches play out. Um, I mainly want to talk about basically some of the things, some of the guys on the roster who, I like to see, who are intriguing to me. Um, Especially since we're coming up towards Mania. Um, you have John Cena. Cena is basically right now, John Cena. It's crazy to think that this man has been in the W. He came in when Kurt Angle was, I mean, at the top of his game. I'll never forget that Ruthless Aggression promo. And for those that aren't familiar with John Cena and how he ended up getting in the position that he's in now, he was about to get cut from WWE. I think Stephanie, or I believe it was Stephanie, told the story how, no, I'm sorry, John told the story, and Stephanie kind of confirmed it, that essentially he was going to be one of the guys that got cut um when he was on the roster, and he was the prototype John Cena from OVW, and Jim Cornette and those guys were, working with him down in OVW. Um, they had him down there. He was doing the prototype gimmick. He got up to the main roster, and he kind of didn't have a place because, I mean, when you look at the talent that was on the roster there, it didn't really provide him much of an opportunity to have his own niche. So Cena's on the roster. They're coming up towards their infamous time where they start looking at who they can cut to trim the fat in WWE for the budget. Cena's one of the guys essentially on the chopping block. They're on the back of a bus on, I want to say it was a European tour, and they're on the back of the bus having a little cipher. Him, Rey Mysterio, and a couple other guys. And basically, he's sitting in the front of the bus. He goes to the back where they're spitting, and he does a little cipher like a freestyle. And I think Stephanie said that she heard him rapping and basically was like, "Hey, do a freestyle about me." And he started doing it. And then that's when they went to TV the next week and came up with an idea to, let him do his gimmick where he's rapping. And that's when it took off from there. He started coming out on TV, cutting promos with the mic and the chain and World Life and Basic Thugonomics, and it took off from there. So I, for one, am glad that that happened, because we never would have gotten the 16, 17 time champion John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. And when I tell you, as a wrestling purist, somebody who has been in love with the business since 1990, to see a guy like him rise to the heights that he has is just meteoric. It's meteoric. It's amazing to see the talent that this man has. I mean, he's able to go out there and work with anybody. He was F5 in guys like Big Show, guys like Brock Lesnar, Mark Henry, putting guys on their ass, cutting promos. And yes, some people did not take kindly to John Cena at first. There are some people that, I think still have an issue with John. now because they're essentially accusing John Cena of doing what Rock did and just inserting himself into a championship storyline because he's got a belt. They don't think he earned his spot in the chamber. Well, guess what? It's his last year. I say after giving, here's my opinion on John Cena as far as the what's the word I'm looking for? As far as him inserting himself into the world title picture. Here's my take on that. I think after so many years of service, 18, 19 years of service to the WWE, being the prototype, being word life, being hustle, loyalty, and respect, not just that, but do you have any idea how many make-a-wishes this man has done since he won his first world championship? Do you have any idea how many um, charities this man has given to when they were doing tribute to the troops? Do you have any idea how much that man sacrificed to make sure that he was a part of that? John Cena has given so much to the business. I think that with his ascent to Hollywood and basically doing what Rock did, I think that in his final year, he should be able to do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to make a pitch to main event WrestleMania, I say give him what he wants. We as the fans want to see John Cena in the ring after not seeing him for so long. I mean, granted, he ain't Rock. He didn't just disappear for 6, 7 years and then decide to come back to do a one-off or come back occasionally to do a couple pay-per-views or something. Like, Cena came back for the fans. He came back to film movies for the fans. I mean, he came back to put on wrestling shows for the fans and give us matches so that we can honor his career and his longevity in this business. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm here for it. John wants to come in and do cartwheels at ringside. I say let him. If there is a possibility that him and Cody Rhodes can go at it at WrestleMania, him, Cody, Roman, Seth Rollins, I say go for it. But here's my thing. WWE is in a really, really, really interesting position. WWE essentially is to the point now where you have a boatload of talent on the roster on SmackDown and Raw, respectively, who now are in a position to possibly main event WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, champion, Jey Uso, challenger. You got so many people on that roster that could possibly make a run at the at WrestleMania. It's going to be hard to figure out who's going to be in that spot. Who do you put there now? Who is going to be the one guy who you can say, you know what, Cody's our champion, but we're going to put you in that spot. Sell us some tickets and make us a lot of money. Last year's WrestleMania in Philly, my hometown, was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how you can top that this year. You're going to Vegas. Cody's got the strap. Are you ready to put CM Punk in a situation where you possibly have him challenging Cody Rhodes? How can you make this match more dramatic? I don't think CM Punk's going to be the one to do it this year. I don't think that you can. I just don't see the build up. It's going to be a short build. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns was a 1 year build. A 1 year build. Do you have any idea how hard it is for WWE, even with the parameters of having so much talent on the roster. Do you have any idea how hard it is to put together a main event match at WrestleMania, building that feud since the WrestleMania of last year? I think they tried it. They did it once before with Rock and Cena, and that one was major, but there was no belt on the line. It was just two men that had an issue, and they promoted each other to death. They had a couple of matches leading up to Mania. I think Rock, if I remember correctly, Rock, um, he was a guest of something. I think he was at the Rumble, and it was a Miz. I think Miz. I'm trying to remember which pay per view it was, but I think Miz was challenging Cena for the title, and Rock screwed over Cena, and that was the pay per view where Miz got knocked out and couldn't remember the finish, but he won the world title somehow, and that was the actual kickoff to um Rock versus Cena at Mania. But this here was a feud that involved so much. It was so personal with Rock and Roman and Cody. How do you put up how do you build a pay-per-view, a WrestleMania with the build? I just don't see them doing that with CM Punk. Roman, I'll be honest, you're only going to get so much mileage out of Roman now. I mean, granted, he's back, but he's kind of like a tribal chief with I don't want to say no country, but where do you put him now? What are you doing with him? I mean, you got him. He's got the Ulafala back, but what now? Does he rebuild the bloodline? Is he just a one man wrecking crew? I mean, he's got Jimmy, but let's face it, Jimmy needs to be on his own. Jimmy needs to walk his own path. I think, to be honest with you, and I'll say it right here. I think Jimmy being with Roman all that time was kind of a detriment to his career. He was Roman's lackey for so long when Jake basically quit the bloodline that now you kind of have Jimmy as a rudderless ship. Like, where does he go from here? He's got to carve his own niche. Where do you put Jimmy now that Roman got the Ulafala back? Roman could easily be like, Jimmy, do you? I'm good over here. Rebuild the bloodline, make a new bloodline. I don't care, but just keep Jimmy out of it. Jimmy's got to find his own way now. And I do like the idea that they have this little thing brewing with him and Drew McIntyre. He's another one I'm having a problem with. And I'm having a problem with Drew McIntyre because they have this man doing all these things, all these different matches, and he's getting the shit beat out of him by various stars. He had a whole series with CM Punk. He beat Punk, Punk beat him, he beat Punk, Punk beat him again in the bull rope match. Great. Now where do you have Drew McIntyre? Where does he go from here? You have got to do something with him. You have got to put some type of gold on him and fast because he, in my opinion, is losing stock. He came back to such fanfare. He came back with a vengeance, came back as a super heel, deranged, demented, out for revenge against whoever did him wrong. He beat the shit out of Adam Pearce a couple times. You even teased the thing with him and Wade Barrett. and now you kind of got him relegated to messing with Jimmy. What are you going to do with him? There was so much momentum, I think, with him going after Roman and the Bloodline and various other people and Cody Rhodes. Now you kind of got him just wandering around now, like looking for a place to fight. So I don't really know what you do with him at this point. I just don't really see where you put him. You've got to put a belt on him. You got to do something with him. Because then the fans are going to start to turn on him and be like, "Look, dude, you just suck. You're getting beat. You're getting, you get your win every now and again, but I mean, what exactly are we doing with you?" Um, I'm trying to think who else am I thinking about? Yeah, that's pretty much it for the guys. I mean, Gunther's doing great. They got to figure out what to do with Drew. Jay, if they don't put the world title on him at WrestleMania, his momentum is all but dead. His momentum is going to be shot if he does not walk out of WrestleMania without that world title. They have got to put a belt on him and quickly. All this momentum being built up is basically screaming that he's going to win the world championship. They can't do the same thing to him like they did to Cody Rhodes. Cody had to have matches all year just to stay healthy enough to make it to WrestleMania. I don't have that same confidence that Jay can stay healthy if they're going to do another build with him for another year. Granted, you got stars that are coming up, but Jay, they got to put the title on Jay. I mean, he is red hot right now. The fans are behind him. He's selling merch. He's getting crazy reactions when his music hits. He's yeeting all over the tables and whatnot. Pause. That sounded kind of weird. Um, but he's phenomenal. He's great. Um, Braun Breaker, dude, he damn near killed Ice Show Speed at the Rumble. He almost killed that kid, showing how much of a monster he really is, and I love it. Braun Breaker is going to be such a star. He is. I can't even describe how cool it is to see a Steiner in WWE main eventing, putting on great matches. I mean, he's he's a great face. He's a great baby face. I think they started to really push him as a heel at first, but I think he'd be great as a baby face if they can really get the fans behind him. It's kind of like they teased him, especially when he started doing his dad's little barking thing going on, the dogs and whatnot. For anybody that follows history, his dad was Dogface Gremlin, and his uncle was Big Papa Pump. So he has that genetic freak that Scott was, but he's got kind of like the sympathetic puppy dog eyes like his dad. So um I like what they're doing with Braun. He's got the IC title. He's the man. And eventually I think he's gonna be a world champion. I believe a lot in Braun Breaker. I believe in him. I think he's going to do some amazing things to come. If he stays healthy, look out. He'll be wearing a world title in the next 2 years or so. The ladies, can we just take a minute and give Liv Morgan her damn flowers, please? Can we do that? Liv Morgan deserves her flowers. That woman right there came essentially out of nowhere and rocked that women's title and made us believe in her. I always believed in Liv Morgan. When she won Money in the Bank and then cashed in and won the world title, I always thought that was an amazing feat for someone like her, especially in a division where she's kind of like the undersized, the way that she can cut a promo, her looks, the way she talks. I think the most brilliant move that they did with Liv Morgan was put her in Judgment Day. That was a brilliant move because I don't think her being a face would have went over well with the fans. I think her being a heel, it was a natural progression. Dominic, having her and Dominic as a pair, absolutely boosted her credibility on the roster. It made everybody take a look at her and say, "Hey, I mean, granted, some of her matches are kind of sloppy, but as far as the presence and aura of Liv Morgan, the reaction she got, I think that spoke volumes to her ability to be a convincing heel. And I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. Liv got everybody's attention, which is awesome. It's a great thing because everybody wanted to see her have her breakout year, and this was it. I think this was her breakout run when she won that world title. This was her year, and she took the ball and freaking ran with it. So props to Liv Morgan for going out there and convincing everybody that she deserves to be where she is. Um, what can I say? Let's see. Rhea Ripley. My God, Rhea Ripley is one amazing woman. She can cut a great promo. The fans are behind her. She's got the look. She's got the size. She can beat people convincingly. In any normal situation, she'd beat the piss out of Liv Morgan 10 times out of 10. But for her to have a back and forth with Liv, that basically, to me, that was probably one of the greater women rivalries I've seen in quite a while, quite a long time. Liv is out there having, matches with Rhea. Rhea's beating her. Rhea took a loss. She got hurt, came back. Basher Berlin had a great mixed tag match with her and Damien. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I watched that match and thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, Rhea Ripley, she's gonna be around for a very long time. She reminds me so much of China. She gives China vibes. Can you imagine if China was still here and Rhea Ripley was running around? Oh my God. I can't think of the matches they could the mentorship they could have had, the matches they could have had if China was still, still here and still fit. That would have been an awesome dynamic. The ninth one of the world and the Eradicator. Oh man. The merch on that would have been crazy in itself. Um Nia Jax, she's another one. Nia's another one that deserves her flowers because Nia came back. She could have stayed away from WWE, but she came back to the company on her second go round, won the world title, and convinced everyone that she's a legit badass. I love how she came back and dominated everybody. Won the Rumble. Did she win the Rumble? I forget. She won the world championship. Got um, got Tiffany Stratton under her wing and rocked it. Then Tiffany won Money in the Bank, and it was Tiffy time. Credit to Nia Jax for really coming back in when the women needed a convincing world champion while certain people were hurt, and she came in and did her thing. came in and did her thing, bully people, beat people up. You saw what she did at the Rumble. Girl can still go. Girl can go. And the fans were behind her. The fans were behind her as far as her having the ability to go in there and have a convincing match. She came in and squashed everybody that got in her way. She lost the title when she was supposed to, but she held the title the way that it was supposed to be held. Um, who else? You got a whole bunch of women in NXT that are gunning for her, that are gunning for that world championship. Jordan Grace, she's on NXT now. Julia, I mean, Shawn Michaels has been basically playing chess while AEW is playing checkers. And I'm going to get to AEW too. That's going to be a separate video. Because when I tell y'all, I'm about sick of Tony Khan, and I'm saying Tony Khan, TonyCon, not KHANCON, because he's a con artist. As you can no doubt tell with the BS that he's been dealing with Ricky Sparks. But that like I said, that's another video for another time. I have to applaud Raquel Rodriguez. I wish they kind of would have changed her name, because having two RRs on the roster, just, I don't know, the aesthetics of it just doesn't look right. Um, but I mean, I'm glad that we have a lot of women on the roster who are able to put on great matches. I'm trying to think of who else is on. Is Oh, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is in the daggone Twilight Zone. Tiffany Stratton is in another planet right now. That woman went out there and had great matches at War Games. She had great matches at Elimination Chamber last year. We just saw Elimination Chamber from last year. That was when people really kind of paid attention and said, yo, homegirl can work. And I'm definitely in awe of her talent, her in-ring ability, her promo ability. People just love her. People love Tiffany Stratton. And I think it's amazing that this woman can go out there and do what she does. She's got the look, she can talk, and by God, she can work. Let's see. I hate to say this, but looking at some of the women on the roster right now, there are some people that I'm kind of confused about, like Bianca Belair and Naomi. I don't know where they're going with this storyline with Jade Cargill and her being hurt. But is it just me, or did they kind of pull the 52 fake out with that? They kind of hinted that Bianca could have been behind that whole situation, only to turn around and say, "Oh yeah, Liv Morgan and Raquel did that." You had them walking out of the backstage area the night that Jay got attacked with baseball bats. What other conclusion were we going to draw? What other possible ending to that story did you think we were going to have, besides it being those two that did it? I don't really see. I mean, I get that they were trying to make us believe that it was a possibility it wouldn't have been them two, but the way that they reacted um on SmackDown with with dude, with the commissioner, with the GM, Nick Aldis. It just kind of came off as maybe they were trying to figure out how they were going to explain why she got hurt, and then they were going to pivot to it being somebody else. But then they decided, you know what, we're going to stick with our original plan. I think they were kind of hinting towards it possibly being Jade, with the possibility of them turning her heel, which I really hope they do, because I think a heel Jade Cargill and maybe a heel Naomi would be a breath of fresh air to a already heavily babyface roster. Bailey, EOS, almost damn near all the damage control. Uh, Naomi, the only real heel, I mean Tiffany, they basically turned her baby face by her being challenged by Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I just kind of hope that they turn her heel and get rid of that hair. Oh my god. The hair on Bianca is starting to get annoying for me. Let me think. Um Bailey. I love Bailey. I'm not too sure what they're doing with Bailey. I mean, I get it. She's got her beef, but she's another one who they're gonna have to figure out what to do with her pretty quick before her run gets stale and the fans kind of get bored with her. I mean, I get that they got this little rivalry, this thing brewing with her and Nia, but Nia doesn't have the strap, so I don't really see the benefit. I mean, you could have a one-on-one just for rivalry's sake, especially with the trash talk. I do love how they basically include the social media thing with the promos. WWE did a great job with that, with making social media one of the benchmarks for trying to push a storyline. But there's only so much mileage you're going to get out of the whole BBL thing. You know, I mean, I don't really see what's the end game here with Bailey. Like, what are we doing with her? Um, I'm trying to think. It's WWE is stacked with talent, stacked roster, lots of talent, lots of charisma from the girls. They are making watching women's wrestling fun again, and I'm here for all of it. Um, WWE did a great job with revamping and retooling the women's roster and making us believe. Because I remember it always used to be about women with pretty faces and nice boobs. That's all it was for a while. Jerry the King Lawler would have a stroke on commentary damn near every week talking about puppies and all that. And let's just be honest, with the exception of a few of them, most of the girls that were on that roster couldn't wrestle. They couldn't work. Sable was horrible in the ring. Nice, want to say, well, yeah, she was a beautiful girl, nice figure, horrible in the ring. To the point where she had a couple of matches and that was it. Like no. And then came, Jacqueline and Ivory and Lita and Molly Holly, and those girls could actually work. And Trish, I think Trish was the best out of the lot of them, but a lot of them could work and they could go in the ring and believe that these girls could fight. Um, and now we're at an era where these girls have the total package. Look at Tiffany Stratton. That woman can work. She's beautiful. The fans love her. Guys want her. Girls want to be like her. That was kind of like a Sable promo right there, because that's the same crap Sable used to say. But the fans are 100% behind Tiffany Stratton. We know as fans what we want to see. We want to see women that are beautiful, but can also put on matches. Um, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I hate the fact that Charlotte Flair is back. I hate the fact that Charlotte Flair is back on my television screen. I'm not a fan of Charlotte Flair. Never have been, never will be. You can't convince me that Charlotte Flair is anything that we need to cheer for. Yes, she's the queen. Yes, she's one of the best. Yes, she's one of the greatest. She will be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling for women and so forth and so on. But I think what really soured, I'm gonna tell you what soured the fans on her. What soured the fans on her, and we're talking about two different Charlotte Flairs. We're talking about what really soured us on Charlotte was the fact that Vince was so ornery about that woman that he basically forced her down our throats every week, convincing us that she's the best in the world for women's wrestling. That now that Vince is gone, she's gonna have to stand on her own, and if she can't hack it, then she's gonna be out of there. She's not gonna be in that spot. I mean, they put the creative machine behind Charlotte, booking her in segments every week, having her talk, having her win every damn world title that there could possibly be to win. And now without Vince there, it's going to be a little bit difficult for her. She's going to have to stand on her own. She's going to have to, really convince the fans that she can go out there and do it without Vince's help, without Vince's creative direction. And that's another thing too. Vince McMahon, I don't want to sound like I'm all over the place, but I don't want to be on here too long. But one good thing about all this is that Vince McMahon is not there to pigeonhole WWE creatively. Everything was Vince's way of the highway, and now it's talent actually have the ability to come up with their own stuff and come up with their own way and niche. Guys aren't going out there doing stupid angles every week. I mean, look at New Day. New Day actually turned heel, kicked Big E out the group, and look what they're doing now. I absolutely love the fact that New Day is a heel group now, and they are doing everything possible to piss off the fans. They got rid of the bright colors. They're more of a dark theme tag team now. Dark colors, dark Titantron, dark more of a hip hop song and presentation. They don't really care about the fans so much now, and I love it. They don't care about the fans at all. But they're out there doing these promos every week and attacking people. I love it, which is also at the same time giving credence to the idea that Big E may return. Could be another Judgment Day kind of situation where Big E comes back as the once exiled member of Judgment Day, of a New Day, coming back to right the wrongs of the group, and he's going to beat the hell out of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and possibly bring somebody else in to help. Maybe having a tag team match down the road, way down the road, once we get a further clarification on his neck injury. Maybe he can come back and have a tag team match against those two and make up for what they did to him, how they treated him. The fact that they didn't physically attack him tells me that he's still not medically able to take bumps or any type of physical exertion. So, I mean, he could probably still work out, but as far as him taking any punishment, the fact that they didn't attack him on that Raw basically told me that he's not 100% yet, but I think he's well on his way. And we can hear anytime now that he's medically cleared. So when we see him cut to the ring and he's standing in the ring with a microphone, we'll know. I hope he, isn't forced to retire, but I think that him being on the roster still, even as a commentator, is a good thing. He's basically doing what a lot of other guys have done. Shawn Michaels did it. I can't think of who else, but other guys. I mean, look at Wade Barrett. He was in the ring. He wrestled, and now he's doing announcing. Same with Lawler. I think Lawler still wrestles from time to time on the indie circuit for like the Southern Wrestling promotions and NWA and different promotions like that. He still gets in the ring every now and again. even to do just an appearance, but he still gets in the ring. So I'm really WWE is in such a good place right now. The good outweighs the bad. The good outweighs the bad. I wouldn't even say that there's anything ugly about WWE right now. I think anything bad in the company has the opportunity to be good. It's just that they have to be in a position to make it good. I mean, look at NXT. NXT is basically taking care of itself. NXT is its own brand and it's taking care of itself. You got guys on that roster, young talent. They just signed Ricky Starks. And I mean, they signed him really quickly. AEW dropped the ball on him. Look, they signed Penta. Penta, oh man. Penta came into this company and had such a positive reaction. The Royal Rumble with him and Ray starting out first, classic move. Old wily veteran versus the young new talent. That was so cool to have him out there with Ray. It was a throwback to, in my opinion, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but you know who Penta kind of reminds me of? Penta gives off La Parka vibes. If I'm not mistaken, their outfits are extremely similar. If the guy that actually owned the rights to La Parka wanted to sue WWE, I mean, it wouldn't be a hard lawsuit to win. Because yeah, that's gonna be that is a carbon copy of La Parka, even down to the little goofy dance he does. But Penta came in with so much hype, and as far as I'm concerned, he's more than lived up to the hype. He has a whole greeting that I didn't even know existed. That thing he does with the A and putting it down, like the M or whatever. Oh my god, I love it. There were people that were when he first cut that promo on Raw, and he started talking. The fans knew practically the ending of all his lines, and I thought that was super cool because the fans they know what they want. The fans know what they want. They know what they love, and they love them some Penta. Um, I'm trying to think what am I missing here? Um, Michael Cole, he just signed a new deal with WWE, so he's going to be around for a while. He's going to be the JR of our generation. All he's missing is cowboy hat, but he's Michael Cole is our Jim Ross for this generation, a guy who's been in the company for so long. I remember him and Todd Pettengill, Todd Pettengill, Kevin Kelly, all were backstage interviewers at one time. Those were out of all three of those guys, Todd Pettengill, Kevin Kelly, and Michael Cole. Michael Cole was the one that actually has been in the company the longest out of all three of them. Todd Pettengill didn't last very long. Kevin Kelly lasted maybe 2-3 years, and then he vanished. Later to pop up on where did he end up? MLW or Impact or something? He popped back up, but I mean his he wasn't really the same. But Michael Cole actually stayed and did an amazing job. You know, he's been around forever. And the fact that we still have him in the company after years of getting orders barked at him from Vince McMahon, I'll never forget. It's available on YouTube for anybody that wants to hear it. There is a video of Michael Cole listening to Vince McMahon. And you can hear Vince yelling in his ear about a segment that was supposed to go down. And you can hear Vince McMahon in this man's ear through the headset screaming at Michael Cole. And Michael's just going, okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very monotone, very dead, no excitement, nothing. But then you cut to him juxtaposed. He's standing on a table eating with Jey Uso. Vince McMahon would be having kittens if that would have happened on his watch. Vince would be losing his collective shit knowing that this is happening. But I'm here for it, man. And I'm here for it. So yeah. Pat McAfee, great addition. Whoever made the decision to bring Pat McAfee, whoever made that decision to bring Pat McAfee in, thank you. You get beers for life. Pat has brought a different type of energy to the broadcast position for guys who are enjoyable and lovable and love this sport. He's bringing an energy that we've never seen. I think he's actively cheering and happy for the guys, for the baby faces. You don't really have heel announcers like, I mean, granted, Corey Graves is a cut to the old Jerry Lawler heel, Southern heel type of commentator. But you don't really have any main roster heel guys. I mean, Wade Barrett kind of teases it a little bit, but Wade is Wade. Wade was a worker, so it's a little bit different as far as guys who have been in the business, who have wrestled and done what Wade has done, and what guys like Lawler have done. But yeah, Pat McAfee, coming from the sports world, he knows what he sees. He knows, what he knows what he likes. He knows what he sees and things like that. Oh, one more thing, and then I'm gonna cut this short. I'm gonna cut this live because I've been on for an hour just rambling. And I know some people are gonna disagree with me. Some people aren't gonna like what I'm about to say. But I got to give a shout out to Logan Paul. I know. I know. Before you get your panties all twisted, let me explain. Logan Paul came in and everybody was, even me, very negative against Logan Paul. Nobody liked him. Nobody wanted him. Nobody trusted him. Nobody thought he could do anything. But when you see his training videos and then you see the ability for him to cut a promo, people hate Logan Paul. I cannot stand the Paul brothers. Him or his brother, Jake. To me, Jake is a punk. I knock him out. Put me in a ring with Jake Paul. I'm beating the piss out of him 10 rounds out of 10. But he won't sign up to fight in a real promotion because he know he'd get his shit rocked. Anyway, that fight that we're hearing about with Canelo is bullshit, I think. I don't think he's ever going to take that fight. Not a real fight because Canelo would tear him apart. Hell, give me Canelo's purse. I'll fight him. 10 rounds, I'll drop him in 4. Anyway, no, Logan earned my respect when he went out there and actually did his thing. Logan Paul earned my respect for one reason. When they put the United States title on Austin Theory, it was a joke. When they had him try to cash in to win that US title, to me it was the biggest joke in the company. That's when I knew it was a wrap. It was garbage. That man had the Vince McMahon stink to him, and when Vince left the company, it showed because the fans we never accepted him. Never accepted him. Him bragging about beating John Cena and the announcers making it a point to keep mentioning that he beat John Cena at WrestleMania. just made Austin Theory just look like he was the teacher's pet. And when Roman cut that promo on Austin Theory, where he said, "Daddy's not here to protect you," that exposed him. That really exposed him. It's like no one cares anymore, dude. So they put the U.S. title on him thinking that was going to bolster that title, and it did nothing. When Logan got it, Logan had it everywhere. He had it on a show. He had it on CNN. He had it on this platform, that platform. And he actually gave that title significance. So now everybody wants to be United States champion. It's a prestigious belt again. That's why I say he earned my respect. That man was able to go out there and put on a performance. He can go in the ring. He can work. People hate him, so his promos are effortless. They don't require much effort at all because it's not hard to hate that guy. But that's my take on what's going on in wrestling. I'm going to do another video on AEW. There are so many things I dislike about AEW. So many things I dislike about Tony Khan. So many things I dislike about some of the shit you see in that company. From the Orange Cassidys to the fake repeated weak chops from Eddie Kingston. Okay, I take that back. I kind of like Orange Cassidy, but the fake Eddie Kingston chops to the Jericho Tree of Life and all this other dumb shit. I'm not really a fan of Chris Jericho right now, but who am I? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vern. This is the David Starr Experience. I'm out. Welcome to the David Starr Experience.
It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let